All right, well, round 5 is about to start, you guys. Entitled Tuesday, game week 8. This is chess as an esport. Players are logging on from every corner of the globe. Elham is logging on from the Dave Cave here in the Take offices. He's on a perfect score. And here he is up against Paravyan, a grandmaster.
Yeah, and very quick queen trade in this one. White grabs a pawn with a check. I'd be curious to see what Elham's saying, because he went for something they call the center game, something that was very popular when I was a child, but has suddenly experienced a bit of a renaissance, and White next move recaptures a pawn. White's a pawn up, but with some fractured pawns, with the Black Knight jumping into the center. This is clearly still preparation from both players, as Paravyan, rock solid player, super experienced grandmaster, seems to have equalized his position.
I love this as well, because as you rightly call it, it's a center game, but for anyone who isn't necessarily that familiar with openings, I look up, I look at the screen, and I go, no. The center's the one thing that's been obliterated for both sides. There is no center in this game. So this is very interesting, very, very quick to get to this point as well. 4 minutes 26, 4 minutes 20. And with pieces already off the board and so much already being played, you're right, David, this is a huge home preparation. And it's going to be interesting to see whether Elham can squeeze out a decisive advantage in the middle game here.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful with White. And the White King here, I just don't think it's going to be safe for the near future. It feels like it's going to get checked. It could even get checkmated. Cutting across this diagonal is the Black Bishop right now. You have to be very careful not to lose this bishop behind enemy lines. Half of your army are asleep. So Elham, if he can keep his pawn, like you said, John, a decisive advantage. If not, then he might be in big trouble.
Yeah. Elham coming from a win against Jan Pomniachtchi in round 4, but no easy games here in Title Tuesday. Here he is up against David Paravyan, who came second in Title Tuesday last week. He's played all game week so far in Split 1, and he's won Title Tuesday 4 times in history. He's exceptionally good in this format. Another tough opponent for Elham, but he must be super confident after that win.
Yeah, you can tell just the speed he started this game as well. He slowed down because normally when you play a rare opening, you don't expect the opponent to react so quickly. I think the fact that Elham has been caught by David Paravyan here might affect that confidence slightly. But yeah, very early days. The best move might be to drop the bishop back with a check, force some exchanges, replace it with a very strong pawn, then start to race out with your pieces. But okay, he trades off bishops instead. Very natural move.
I was going to ask if there was a way where at the end of getting the dark squared bishop safe, you could play knight into d4 with the idea being king d2 being a safe square, which sounds so counterintuitive, but with no queens on the board, maybe? We're not going to get to see it though, so I've got no idea how big a blunder that would have been.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a blunder. It would have been a very decent move. But Elham went a different direction. He's still got this idea in mind, the bishop to come out, and as you mentioned there, the king now has a bunch of safe squares it can choose. So, Elham, I wonder what he's saying right now.
Yeah, we can listen to him.
D6, BA6, and then rook h. Do you want to get a pawn? Maybe. But he goes this. I didn't really cover this, did I?
He is very good at streaming and playing fast chess at the same time. Thinking out loud.
Multitasking, and I know it is all about calculation with him. He's very, very good at seeing these variations, especially against Nippon in the previous game. Those sharp lines, piece sacrifice, he worked it out perfectly. And he was talking about this line in a slightly different scenario. I don't think he was so happy with how things had transpired. Very surprised last move Black didn't kick away the knight and try to get this pawn back, but instead he's trying to bring his rook into the game.
There's so much tension on the board right now, and there's obviously plenty to play for, but in terms of fundamentals, I'm looking at Black's pawns, I'm looking at White's pawns, and I'm thinking, how on earth is White gonna hold on to this structure long term? I'm just really struggling to see how that's possible.
Yeah, you're right. It's all about the pawns. Black can even grab this pawn if he wants to restore the material balance. Remember, White is a pawn up, everyone. But not for long. The Black rook can also come in, start hunting down those pawns, all the targets on the second rank. And if Elham's pawn drops long term, which it does look likely to do, then it's going to be trouble. I think this is going in Black's favor. The eval bar agrees.
The only way for White to try and dislodge the Black king from blockading the pawn is the knight check, where it can be immediately traded off. So the second question I want to ask off the back of that is, therefore, what are the pair of rooks doing? They're not exactly in the most active position they possibly can be. And that's, I guess, what's making me worried that Black's not won, but Black's got all the cards to play here. It's kind of what it feels like.
Exactly. And I used to be guilty of this a lot myself as a youngster. I see a very strong pawn. I just assume that white must be doing well. 2 squares from promotion must be good. But if you can't push that forward, all of your pieces, their energy is pretty much just blunted by your own pawn. You kind of want to pick it and throw it off the board. He's walked into a knight fork, though, Elham. Big blunder. And he's losing his rook there.
Oh, no. Elham, Amar, he's won all games so far today, but struggling here against David Paravyan in round 5.
Yeah, it's a good name. David Paravyan.
Yes.
And yeah, he's living up to that. The white knight's coming back round. He's trying to get your idea, John, of the knights teaming up to deliver a final check. But as long as that square is covered, maybe a black pawn should just step 1 square forward. It's very one-dimensional. He actually plays that move preemptively. And here we go. Elham in big, big trouble.
Is there anything he can do? Is there any hope? He's down on the clock and obviously massively worse in the game.
He needs a bit of a miracle. Knights are notoriously tricky, but he can't land a fork. He can't land a check, and that means he will not save this game. I think he might be trying with his rook now to get in behind, but that will be easily parried as the black rook steps back. For black, it's just about rounding up this pawn sooner or later, or trading rooks. A rook trade would end the game as a contest now.
Yeah, white wants to try and complicate and keep things as tricky as possible for his opponent, right? But I guess if I'm black here, I'd be telling myself, stay solid. You might not be able to simplify straight away, but the long-term trend of the game is you're going to simplify to a 1 endgame. Don't do anything rash.
Yeah, he's being very, very calm about things here. Following all of your advice there, he's next going to bring the rook across. He's broken the blockade willingly. He actually grabs that pawn with his bishop. Shake of the head from Elham. It's currently a rook and a pawn for a knight. That's a 3-point advantage. And barring any nasty knight forks, he's threatening one now, Elham. Paravyan should win this. He can move his rook out the way. He can move his king back. You can start in any order, and you should be winning. The most attractive move to my eyes would be to just move this rook out the way. Elham looks furious with himself.
Super frustrated. Meanwhile, Magnus Carlsen in the streaming room next door has won his game against Rauf Mamedov. Magnus will be on 4 points. And probably Elham will as well be on 4 points after round 5. Maybe we will see an all Norwegian and all take battle in round 6.
You can even get away with something like... Oh, there you go, playing your suggestion, David. I was looking at whether bishop e5 was possible, saying, hey, if you want to make any progress in this position, you're going to have to give up one of those annoying knights. And simplifying doesn't feel like it's can possibly be in white's favor, so that would be an incredibly frustrating choice to have to make.
Yeah, bishop e5 was actually the top engine move, so good work there, John. In the meantime, the rook's getting out the way. No knight fork landed there. The problem is, even if you win one of the black rooks for a knight now, you're 2 pawns down, 2 connected pass pawns down on the king's side. That's why Elham didn't rush in with his knight a moment ago. But the pawns can start mobilizing now. They can start walking down the board. And this game is almost over. Elham knows it, talking himself through it. The clock, though, 30-something seconds. Can he produce another miracle on the clock? That's the question.
Yeah.
What do you do in that position, David, when you know that you're in a losing position, but it's not lost? I feel like there are 2 paths you can go down. Are you just talking to reassure yourself and reset ahead of the next game? Or is there still a part of you that's thinking, actually, the more I talk through this, the more likely there is I find a way out?
Yeah, ideally, you want to do the latter, I guess. You want to talk yourself through it. You want to stay confident. I know so many players who swindle their ways kind of out of bad positions on a regular basis because they believe, they manifest it. But Elham here, oh, look at this. He was trying to deliver some nasty checks with his knight. Still trying to believe that there's hope, but it did cost him a bunch of his time. Black has now transformed it to be 3 clear pawns up. As he gives some checks with his rook. He's going to save this pawn now. There we go. Still totally winning for black, but the clock is an issue. Knights are so pesky. He's still alive, Elham. 4 seconds up suddenly. Oh, the nerves must be kicking in for Paravyan. As the white king continues advancing, he's definitely getting nervous. He's definitely lost control here. Oh, don't step forward with the black king. There would have been a checkmate. The clock turns red. All of the checks. The black king's danced out of trouble, though. 7 seconds should still be enough. He's still totally winning, but he's dropped a pawn. He's about to drop another pawn. The white knight's jumping. 5 seconds each, and suddenly he's dropped his rook. Suddenly Elham was back in the game, but only for a moment because the black pawns are too strong now. 4 seconds each. Who is going to win? Is it the rook or the bishop? A queen appears. Black needs to get rid of the white rook. That will save him, remove the danger. Quick pre-moves. Elham's removing everything, and it's a draw by stalemate. Wow.
Look at that celebration from Elham Amar. He saves the draw here.
Is he blind?
Oh.
Who's blind?
Some immediate emotions there from Elham. I mean, what a huge save.
What an incredible save. And I just want to point out how it finished. It was the Rosen trap. Paravyan pre-moved there. He took the white rook, assuming the white king would take back the queen, but it moved into the corner, stalemating itself, and Paravyan had pre-moved something else, forcing a stalemate, a very rare way to save a game, but that was incredible. So speedy.
Rosen stalemate trick. Huge.